Hey. All right, we're doing our math talk tonight for the TEAS exam. So, of course, if you are prepping for the TEAS, my name is Jakar Lewis, and I am the author of the Kisses series TEAS 7 Math Edition, which is a set of workbooks that I created in order to help you guys get better prepared. So, when we have math talks, it definitely reminds me of my teaching days when we did number talks. And basically, what we do with math talk is we try to figure out where are you guys struggling the most so I can start to develop some resources for you guys and do like some quick little videos so you guys can use as a reference. So if you are joining me, what is your biggest struggle or what is your biggest fear in reference to the math exam? So I'm going to write all the stuff down so I can keep it in mind, so I can revamp some of the content, especially for you guys, who don't know who I am, so that I can repost it. So of course I have hundreds of videos that have been pre-recorded, but since I'm going to transition over to the iPad era, so I can start, doing some quick things and not as long and drawn out so you guys can reference them in practice. That's going to be pretty cool. So remember, tonight is math talks. So that just means we're going to talk about what you guys are struggling with the most. And then I'm going to take note. I'm still going to give you guys some tips and tricks, but then I'm going to start to roll out content to help to address those issues, or at least clip some of the content that I already have so that you guys are more in tune as to how to approach it. So first things first, who here loves math? I mean, me, of course, but like, who here really loves math? Somebody. I mean, come on. I can't be the only person on either one of these lives that just loves math. All right, so we have a couple things. All right, so first thing I see, which is super common, is word problems. So we see that there's an issue with word problems. Oh, pen does not want to work. Okay, let's get a different pen. We have word problems. I think I saw fractions on here. So on YouTube, let me know, what are you guys the most afraid of in terms of math, or what do you guys struggle with the most? All right, so we have word problems. We have proportions. Really? Oh my God, I make proportions so simple, so easy. You can literally learn that in about 5 or 10 minutes. No lie. Proportions, finding x, so solving equations. I can definitely teach that super quick. No issue. So what are you guys struggling with over on YouTube? What are some of the topics? Because TikTok, one thing about them, they gonna comment over here. I got word problems again. Fractions, definitely know how to make fractions. Super simple. Definitely. Convergence. Oh gosh, yes, definitely convergence. Super simple. All right, so we have a comment that I've been out of school for so long. So I always like to tell students that don't feel bad about being out of school for a long time, because the bulk of nursing students, a large percentage, are considered non-traditional students, which means most of the people who are seeking to go to nursing school or who are currently in nursing school are 25 and older. And even just to use like my personal life as a reference, my mom is a nurse, but she went back to school at 50. And she did fine. She adjusted well, and she's working in the field. So don't let the time that you've been, hello, Stephanie, how are you? Don't let the time that you've been away from school make you feel like you won't fit into nursing, because most people who are seeking or currently in that field, they are considered non-traditional students. So that's definitely nothing to worry about. All right, we have measurement and data. So don't forget, on YouTube, it's Math Talks. What are you guys struggling with? So I can help to create some quick content for you guys, and also redirect you guys to my YouTube channel so that you can go straight to those videos. All right, so when we talk about measurement and data, that's going to be a big section of the exam. I think it's like 16 questions? I can't remember. But that encompasses a couple different topics. I think about 6 topics. So that one is very broad. Word problems, fractions, percentages. So the good thing is, even though you guys are citing struggles with these particular topics, a lot of these are easy fixes. You just have to have you just have to have the right resources. Are these lives saved? I'm old and sleepy. Oh my God. So it's so crazy, because I was supposed to go live earlier, but I started doing a whole bunch of stuff and sitting at my desk, and I really lost track of time. So they save the lives, like for me, like to my device, and then I can chop them up so that you guys can see like different parts of it. But don't worry, I'm going to make sure I'm more visible so you guys can see certain things. So of course, anytime you have a question, you can always leave it under one of my videos. All right, YouTube, what's going on over here? Y'all gotta let me know if y'all have any issues, anything y'all struggling with. Yes, I'm 49 and going back. Yes. 49 is the new 20. 50 is the new 20, as my mom would say. Yeah, definitely. All right, I passed my T's with a 94. Thank you so much. Oh my God, congratulations. Perfect. All right, everybody, make sure you guys send out a congratulations. Perfect. 94 is great. Hey, Cartina, how are you? Oh my God, that's like an OG right there. Are you finished with your program? Are you practicing yet? Or are you almost done with your program? Because I remember that you were accepted. I passed my TEAS exam thanks to you. Oh my gosh, congratulations. Hey. All right, conversions has me in chokehold. Really? Conversions are not that bad. I promise. Conversions are very, very straight to the point. I'm struggling and I'm scared to take my TEAS. Oh, don't be scared. Now, one thing about it, don't have a fear of taking a test because it's just a test. But you just kind of got to get in the groove and find your footing and make sure that you have resources that resonate with the type of learner that you are, so that you are actually retaining. And retaining means like you're learning it, but you can still remember it so you can apply it. I need help with algebra pre-nursing. Oh, are you taking college algebra? All right, take my TEAS on the 30th. I never got in. The TEAS hate me so bad. Oh my God, I didn't know that. The TEAS does not hate you. Oh my God, don't do that. Don't do that. All right, make sure y'all sending me the hearts and sharing. Y'all know I'm still learning this part. And the same thing over here on YouTube. Make sure y'all comment and then let me know what you guys are struggling with so I can make note. All right, so we have word problems, proportion. So it's nobody who loves math though. I mean, it's not really that bad. I'm taking it again February 4th. Wish me luck. Sending prayers to you. I have to take my test in February. Yes, when are you guys testing? Let me know in the comments. I've always had a problem with math, never seemed to get it. Well, so question, Stephanie, have you looked at any of the videos on my YouTube channel, like in reference to math? Well, that's all I have on this math. Have you looked at any of my YouTube videos? February is good. Okay, testing this Friday. Perfect. You watched all of them and you still struggling? Really? That's interesting. Do you have any type of practice that you're doing to reinforce the content? I don't think I'm struggling until I come into a problem I don't know, but overall I think I know everything, if that makes sense. So I definitely get that. So I always tell students, sometimes with all of the topics that are included, you may not know everything, but that's annoying. You may not know everything, but that's okay. If you know the bulk of the content that's being presented, that's fine. I always like to tell students, what you know is what you know. Whatever you don't know, don't let it stress you out. Even if it's like a couple problems that they throw at you and you just always stressed about it, like, oh, you just can't get equations or something like that. It's not a big deal if you miss a question or two, if you're super strong in other areas. For sure. What's a good way? Math looks like Chinese to me. I promise it's not that bad. I promise. What's a good way to reinforce the material? So it's a couple different ways that you can do that. The best thing that you can do to start, which I always recommend, is you have to take some type of practice test first. And the reason why you want to take a practice test is because you just need to expose yourself to all of the content that you could possibly see. And then once you actually grade the test, you'll be able to pinpoint the specific topics that you're struggling with. And then you build your plan around that. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they try to study too much on the front end versus having a clear-cut picture as to what the struggles are and then tackling the struggles one at a time. So I use myself, for example. Anytime I'm doing, not anytime, I'll say as of late, when I've been doing things in reference to business, because I have so many goals, set for this year, sometimes in the front of my mind, all I can see is 10 or 15 goals. And it makes it so hard when I sit to my desk, because in my mind I'm thinking, oh, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing this. Oh my God, I forgot to do that. And then it's like, I don't make as much progress. So I've been doing better this week with saying, okay, this is my focal point now. And then when I see progress from what I'm doing now, then I can attack something else. And it's the same thing when you guys are prepping with the TEAS. it is overwhelming when you feel like you have a lot of things to cover, and in your mind you're trying to go against the time, you're trying to tackle everything, but that's counterproductive. You just can't be as efficient if you don't approach everything one at a time. So if you take your practice test right, and let's just say, for example, you miss all of the problems that are associated with fractions. So in the front of your mind, this week or these next 2 days, my focus needs to be fractions, right? Because I need to figure out, in the midst of me doing fractions, can I not add? Can I not subtract? Can I not multiply? Can I not divide? And then in that sense, even if it's all four that you're struggling with, then you find content that's based around it. You find somebody like me who has a full lesson, who shows you all of the tips and tricks. You take notes, and then from that lesson, what you do is you apply it to practice. With math, the one thing that I love about math the most is math doesn't change. So math is the same today as it was 100 years ago, and it's going to be the same 100 years from now. So you just have to figure out your process of learning, and math gives you tons of different ways to be able to figure that out. And it's like, once you start practicing, I always like to see when students kind of hit the learning curve, and then it kind of clicks, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it. Or, oh, that was it. But that only happens through practice. And as you're practicing, the practice has to be what I consider meaningful. Meaning, if you're practicing and you feel like you're not growing, or you're still having a certain struggle, you always have to go back and readdress that struggle so you can fix it. That's how math is. Math is like putting together a puzzle. And if you don't have all the pieces, you're never going to really have a clear picture, if y'all know what I mean. Not like technically, but it's like you have to learn yourself to know, okay, this one little part right here is kind of tripping me up. So I need to go back and figure out who can teach me how to fix this part. That's how much of the process you have to become, so that you can see the gains, especially if you're someone who always has struggled with math, like been a lifelong struggler, which happens. You may have to go a little bit more in depth so that you can figure out how to address the problem. Where can I take the practice test for free? So I do know that ATI offers a free practice test online. I can't remember if they give you a printout for that one or not, as far as like the specific topics. What I personally recommend is, if you can get a book that includes like a full length practice test for like all four of the subjects, and then you go and you take it, paper by hand, so that you can actually feel and touch and see, the content, see everything that's going on, and then score it yourself. That's a good way to do it as well. One thing I do know is, I know it can be expensive prepping, right? I completely understand the fact that it can become expensive. However, you always have to look at this journey as an investment. So if you need certain things to be able to create the path for yourself, if you have to go spend the $20 or $30 or $40, then I always advise students to do it. Even if you have to sacrifice small things now for, your long-term goal in nursing, you definitely want to make sure that you do that, because you want to be clear as to where you are. Even if you're someone who actually needs like a tutor or need assistance, that's okay. Don't let people make you think that it's a problem because you need a tutor, or you need a study group, or you need extra assistance, because it's very common. There are a lot of people, who need assistance. And if you're someone who has always struggled, you don't have confidence in math, then it's okay to get the extra push. It's okay for somebody to tweak the lesson to who you are, so that you're not feeling like you're by yourself. A lot of this preparation at first is a mental battle, because in your mind, you're always going by what you never have been able to do. And it's very hard to focus on what you're trying to do, because in your mind, you don't have the confidence, which is normal. So if anybody's experiencing that, like the comment said, math looks like Chinese, that's probably something that person has always felt. So now that it's required, it's very hard to turn that off on your own, even with a lot of resources available. You may need someone who can help you, to build that particular path. But definitely try to get like a comprehensive one. I know it's like a couple practice tests online that give you like little tidbits, like a couple questions here, a couple questions there. But if you could invest in a full length practice test across all of the 4 subject areas, I definitely would recommend it. Do you have any suggestions on how to remember the conversions and formulas? So as far as conversions, there's 2 different types of conversions you guys have to know for this particular exam. There are conversions within a system, and there are conversions between systems. So conversions within a system are going to be like from kilometers to meters, or from like liters to milliliters, that's considered within the system. So there will never be a conversion factor for that. Now, there are mnemonics, of course, that you guys can memorize to help with that. So my favorite, of course, if you follow me, is King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. And that helps you to remember the descending order in which those particular prefixes are. Now, in terms of conversions between systems, most of the conversion factors will be given, except for what are considered common conversions. If you guys go over to my website, which is jacarlewismath.com, it's in my link in my bio over here on TikTok, and it's in my link in my bio on my YouTube, I believe. But if you go on and you sign up for my free cheat sheet, I have everything on it that you guys have to memorize, like even little tidbits to help you with certain like types of measurement questions. But just to give you guys a preview, it's all common conversions. So think of like common sense conversions that the average person would know. So like how many ounces are in a pound? We know it's 16 ounces in a pound. How many inches are in the foot? There are 12 inches in the foot. They're not going to present you with a conversion problem with the conversion factor. That's not common knowledge. Now, if you guys are prepping for the HESI exam, the HESI does not include any conversion factors at all. Those all have to be memorized, but the bulk of those are, is it the metric system? It's like gallons and quarts and cups and pints and a lot of stuff related to that particular thing right there. As far as formulas, the only formulas that you guys have to remember are going to be around geometry. And that's going to be basic shapes like area and perimeter. So the thing I always like tell people, especially in reference to perimeter, anytime you have to find a perimeter or the distance around something, excluding a circle, you just add up all your sides. That's really all that is. And if you have a circle, then you just need to make sure you remember the formulas for that. Now, I know there are some mnemonics for circles, like circumference and area. Now, I don't really know them myself per se, but I know that there are some. And then as far as area, it's all basic shapes. It's always literally going to be side times side. Like if I do a rectangle, it's length times width. If I do a square, it's side times side. Now, little things like triangles, like half of the base times the height, or the base times the height divided by 2. One thing that has always helped students in the past when I used to tutor is whenever we're focused on geometry and we're doing those types of questions, we're writing the formula with each question so that it kind of becomes second nature. And then one thing I always recommend is that as soon as you start your exam and they give you your scratch paper, even though you start with reading, what you want to do is everything that you have to memorize, just write it on your scratch paper so that you don't have to worry about trying to remember it while you're doing the reading section. So even if you have a little paper and you're refreshing before your exam, as soon as you sit down, just write all of your formulas down. So that way you can use them as reference, and that definitely will help. While taking the TEAS, are we allowed to take breaks after each section? So yes, in between each subject area, you guys are allowed a break. I always have different recommendations on that. It really just depends on the type of person that you are. So if you're someone who like overthinks and you second guess yourself a lot, I wouldn't suggest taking a break in between each section, only because I feel like it's like going downhill. If you start with the reading and you don't have the confidence or you don't feel like you did great, when you take that break in your mind, all you're thinking is, oh my God, I did so bad. Oh my God, I did so bad. You're not even thinking like, okay, I'm going to do better on the next 3 sections. And I feel like mentally just psych yourself out. And you definitely don't want to do that. The most I would say is take a break halfway through the exam, meaning do your reading and your math first, and then take a break, because that's a long time to be sitting in one place at the computer. But I wouldn't recommend taking them in between each break. Also, when you guys are taking the exam, they give you the option to flag questions. So my best advice is always, when you guys are taking the exam, always go through and answer questions that you can answer without a shadow of a doubt. It's no second guessing. It's, I know how to do this. I know how to calculate a percentage. I know how to find the main idea. I know how to read a graph and answer a question. Anything that you see and it gives you the slightest bit of anxiety or you're unsure of yourself, flag it. Right? Because we want to go through first and we want to grab those guaranteed points. Like, what do I know as soon as I see it? What is my trigger? And then once you get to the end of that section, it's going to show you all of the questions that you flagged, and then you can go back and answer those on the back end. A lot of times I have seen students who were not able to finish particular sections, and then we talk about the points that were missed. And a lot of times those could have been those guaranteed points. Anything that you see and immediately, you need to go through and you need to try to answer them for sure, for sure, for sure. All right. Taking it February 4th, taking it in February, taking it this Friday. All right, let's see. Between systems is not what I'm getting. So I can show you how to do that, because going between systems is just setting up proportions. Definitely need to invest. It only makes sense. Yes, definitely, for sure, for sure. The investment is the key. Yes, so the T7 is the current exam right now. Normally the exams circulate for about 4 or 5 years before they change it. So this is the third version since I've been involved. So I started when it was the T5. I was there for the change with the T6, and then here, of course, now with the T7. The free stuff. What was your name on YouTube? Well, my name is Jakar Lewis, so it's Jakra, and then last name Lewis. The free stuff doesn't cover enough information. You definitely have to buy stuff. Yes, definitely. So this is what I like to tell people. Like, one thing I know for sure, like financially, sometimes it may not work for you right now. So you want to take advantage of the stuff that's free. I'm not saying ignore the stuff that you can use for free. Anything that's free, that's of quality, and that can actually help you to learn and make gains and things like that, you should use it. However, you always want to think of it like this. You're going to spend so much of your time trying to find stuff. And then when something can't cover everything, can't fill in the gaps, now you're spending more time doing that when you could just spend the money on a resource that has everything. So, of course, if you think of it in reference to people who have used my workbook, right? This is everything that you need for the math section is included in here. So it's practice questions. It's over 400 videos. It's practice tests. But every topic that you will see for the exam is in one place. So when it's time to study for math, this is the only thing that you're getting, which means all of your time is invested into practicing versus jumping from person to person, resource to resource. I always tell people, I think it's better if you save the jumping around for the end, like after you've invested the time in the studying, because now you're exposing yourself to different ways people word things, different levels of difficulty. So then you can kind of see, okay, I did really good with this topic. I need to go back and refresh on that topic. But I definitely understand the issue with finances and things like that, because we all human, like we all fall on hard times. But you have to know that you going into nursing school is an investment that's going to change your finances in your life. So you have to make the investments on the front end for sure. For sure. Buy the workbook. It's worth it. Yes, and is. Do you have a TEAS practice book? Yes. So I have this book that is like basically the foundation. I always recommend this one first because it has all of the examples, it has most of the videos, and it has 3 full-length practice tests. This is the one I always tell people to get on the back end. Most people just buy the bundle anyway, though. But this one has 5 full-length practice tests, and what this does is it basically takes all of the content, jumbles everything together to see how well you've retained the information. And the good thing about the practice test edition is there's a video explanation for every question. So this one has 190 video explanations, and this one has a little over 400 video explanations. But everything, of course, that you guys need for sure. All right, so you guys can purchase the workbook via the link in my bio, of course. All right, let's see. Okay, wait. Oh my God, that's so cute. Okay, so somebody on YouTube gave us a mnemonic for oh wow, for the area of a circle. Okay, so it says, so of course the formula for the area of a circle is A equals pi r squared, right? But the mnemonic says an apple pi r2, but it's kind of like an apple pi or 2, but r2. Oh, that's cute. Let me write that down so I don't forget that. Because I want to be able to tell people that, because people always really struggle. I guess it's because I've done it for so long, like I know I'm in my sleep. So I tell people, like, you just gotta keep writing them. But that's cute. The apple pie R2. Oh wow. And then for circumference, cherry pie delicious, because it's C times pi. Wait. Circumference is 2 times pi times the diameter. No, 2 times pi times the radius, or pi times the diameter. So cherry pie delicious. Oh, because pi times the diameter. Oh my God, that's too cute. See, one thing about me, I'm always into learning. Whatever can help y'all to learn more, that definitely. And then for circumference, it's going to be cherry pie delicious, because C is for circumference, and then it's pi times the diameter, which is for the D. Oh my God, too cute. Thank you so much. I like that. I might have to add that to my cheat sheet so people know. Perfect. Oh, that is the business. I'm very familiar with Jakar and the voice. I'm telling you, one thing about it, you're gonna know me from my videos, whether it's the tapping or it's the voice, because I'm very direct, very straightforward. I use this book to pass my exam. Currently a nurse. It's worth the investment. Oh, congratulations! That's what I'm saying. I love it. 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 That one thing y'all gonna know about me from watching me, even if you watch my videos on YouTube, I'm definitely not like a salesperson. That's definitely, oh my God, like not my thing. However, the truth is the truth. The truth is in the numbers. The truth is in the reviews. But I always tell people my creation of this book was always because I understand how hard it can be to overcome the lack of confidence and the trauma that's associated with math. And working with so many different people over the years, I felt like they deserve something that was made for them, right? It's something that helps you to start from the bottom. So if we're building a house from scratch, I help to provide that foundation and to build the confidence so that you guys can become competent in the material. It's so much, to me, it's so much more than just this exam. It's when people come back and say like, oh my God, I was able to help my, my son or my daughter, or I was able to help some of my classmates, or I was able to learn dosage a little bit easier because I was really good with, ratios and proportions. It's things like that that are important to me. It never has been one of those situations where it's a money grab. I understand the need and I understand the deficits because I've been in education for a long time. And the creation of this definitely was a labor of love, because I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys as much as I could. Even if you just look at the number of pages, it's 250 pages of just math, right? You have workbooks that are the same number of pages that break down all 4 of the subject areas. So this tells you how intensive and how serious I am about the topic, because I understand how the lack of confidence can be a detriment. This math is the reason why some people change majors. Like this is the reason why some people feel like nursing isn't for them. And I just really hate for people to feel that way. I really, really do. I want to go sis bad. I have your book, but so scared. Oh my God, don't be scared. Don't be scared. One thing I know from like seeing people who have been in the program becoming nurses, it's so worth the dream. Like once y'all actually like get into the field, it definitely changes a lot for you. I know we see like a lot of videos of, people who say that the conditions aren't great, which of course, it's just like teaching. Like I don't think that they pay you guys your worth. However, based on where a lot of you guys may be coming from, you may be CNAs, maybe medical assistants, you may be in a different field. It's definitely a change in income. It's a totally different situation, totally different vibe. It's definitely going to change things for you. But the happiness that so many people gain from saying, from going from, oh my God, I don't think I can do it, to actually doing it and passing the NCLEX. Oh, it's such a blessing to be able to witness that on a really, really grand scale, because I remember people from years ago who were like terrified of the exam, and now they're nurses. And that could be you guys, right? That it's nothing that keeps you from that. Trust me, the TEAS test is a small pepperstone on your road to becoming a nurse. All right, yes. So the practice test one is available on there as well. So you just always want to make sure you pick what is best for you. But I know that most people always pick this one first, unless you're at the tail end of your study and you kind of just need to clean it up. This is what I would recommend. But if you need like an overall view and like learning and refreshing, then this is going to be the book to go. But of course, the best financial, or the best, the best value for your money is just going to be able to get the bundle. Because basically, if you get the bundle, you're getting this book for $20 off, essentially. Will you go over any practice test questions tonight? Themes that some find uncomfortable and has been restricted. Paid marketing. Wait, what? Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restrictions. Search for the next 10 minutes because you maybe promote number. Or remove once you turn content. This live promotes a brand product. Own brand. Oh my God. Okay, wait. So YouTube, y'all know this is my first time on here, and then TikTok. This is only, I think, like my third time on here, fourth time. I remember. Okay, so they just did a thing where they were trying to restrict my live because I was talking about selling books. So I don't know if that comes from like them catching, and they restricted it so that people aren't going to see it. I don't know. This stuff is new and it's weird to me, but I don't know if they're doing that because of like the verbiage that I'm using, which doesn't make sense because the other couple of times that I have gone live, I do talk about the books, or if like somebody is like reporting it. Whatever. All right. So tonight I'm not actually doing math. However, I do have that coming for you guys within the next 2 weeks. I'm going to order an iPad. I just did 2 big book orders, so y'all know that'd be a little shaky when I have to spend some money to be able to get those amounts of books in. So I just did two big book orders within the last week. So I'll definitely be grabbing an iPad probably next week. I'm still trying to decide which one I actually want so that I can do some tutorials and things with you guys. But tonight is really just a Q&A, just, trying to see what you guys are struggling with the most. Of course, so the content can be built around that. And then any questions I can answer would be great. All right, so it says you would say circumference first, cherry pie delicious, and say area apple pie R2. Oh my God, that is too cute. All right, I did your practice test with the video and got them all right. You see what I mean? Boom. Lay the foundation, do what you need to do, and then you'll be good to go. I really love your workbook. I think my strongest sections are going to be English and math. I don't care about science. Okay, so science is really one of those ones that's like super difficult in my opinion. Only reason why I say science is difficult is because it covers such a vast amount of information. And it's like, how can you really cover it? It's like A and P in itself is like tons of information, right? And then you guys have biology, you have chemistry, you have the scientific method. So from my experience in working in this particular field, the people who have always scored super high in those particular sections, well, as far as science, have been people who are studying for like months, like 3 or 4 months, and they like hard down in the, with the Quizlets and the index cards and the diagrams. I mean, like, they literally have to earn that science. I feel like all of the other subject areas you can clean up a little faster, but unless you're someone who is like super well versed in that content, it's super hard to perform well, only because it's just such a vast, it's such a vast pool of questions that they can pull from. So it's very hard to kind of pinpoint. So if you guys are struggling with science, that's definitely normal. But there are creators out there, of course, who can help you guys with that for sure. All I need is a 60 to pass, so I should be fine. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you'll definitely be fine. I struggle with tricky word problems, so I definitely have that down on here, word problems, so I can make sure that I do some focal points. And another good thing too about the book is this one is over 1,700 questions, but of that, over 1,000 of them are actually word problems. I definitely like to drill the word problems hard because I like to show you guys how the computation of the math transitions over to the comprehension of the math. And plus, I know that word problems are a really big fear that people have, and I like to show you guys how simple it can be. All you have to do is create triggers and understand certain keywords, and you'll be good to go. Your book is excellent. Thank you. All right. Okay. It says reset, logo off, reset, they flag you. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to. So remember, I'm not, I don't know about this TikTok thing. Mind you, I'm a Facebook girl. That's where the whole situation started, over on Facebook. So I don't know. I mean, is the restriction thing normal? Again, I don't know. I'm not really like on lives on TikTok to really see how it works with other people. I don't know if this is normal. I don't know. See, YouTube won't have this problem over here. We good, but over here, all right, I'm having the TEAS exam next Monday, and whoa, I've been doing the math every day. Yes, so speaking of every day practice is a must. Even if you only practice 30 minutes, right? You want to keep the content in front of you, and that's across all of the subject areas, but especially for math. Math is all about repetitive thinking. If you continuously expose yourself, it's like muscle memory. It's just like when you're working out. Math is the same way. You have to exercise your brain. You have to create the patterns and the connections so that you consistently are in that space. I always like to tell people, like, when you're prepping for the teas needs to be at the forefront of your mind. You need to be thinking about that all day, every day. Your social media feeds need to look like that. Everything you're listening to, even if you're in the car, a little YouTube, auditory, especially for the science. Even if you guys have a quick little lunch break at work, I know some people, they use like apps that have like quick little practice questions. Some people, they take, the book with them and they do practice questions, or they have the digital form of it. But any free time that you have, or you can think clearly, you guys will be surprised how much that compounds into progress over time, right? So never think that, oh, this little 15, 20 minutes is not enough, because it's a lot that you can do in the 15 or 20 minutes, especially if you're brushing up skills. But you don't want to, oh, I'm studying today and I'm studying 3 days from now. Like, no, it literally has to be every day. And then as you guys build up closer to the exam, then you want to have longer periods of time, because obviously that needs to be the main focus. But every day for sure. Always, 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 always. What's T Mama math teacher? How are the sections broken down to your final score? Okay, so we did talk about this the other night, but let me look at it again. All right, so I do know that science is the bulk of your score. Let's see. All right, so we have 4 sections. So overall, you guys are going to answer 170 questions. But out of the 170 questions, only 150 of them are scored. So the 20 questions that they don't count in your score, those are considered, I can never remember the words, like test questions, like sample questions, or they use them for data collection or whatever to adjust the difficulty. I don't know. They tell us all type of stuff. So who really knows why they have them there? But it's no way to tell which questions are the sample questions. So you definitely want to answer all of the questions, right? Now, out of the 100, well, this is based on the 170, not the 150. All right, so for reading, you guys are going to answer 45 questions. You're going to have 55 minutes. So that means that is going to account for 26% of your questions, and that's overall questions, even the ones that are omitted. Math, you're going to have to answer 38 questions in 57 minutes, and that is going to contribute to 22% of the overall questions you're going to answer. Science is 50 questions in 60 minutes, and that is going to contribute to 29%. So almost a third, well, not a third, because that's 33%, almost 30% of your questions. And the English is going to be 37 questions in 37 minutes, and that is going to account for 22% of what you're going to see. So of course, science is the most heavily weighted, which means that science could have more of an impact on your overall grade. However, I always like to tell people this: when you are taking the exam, if you are in a position and they're only looking at your overall score, so they're not looking at the individual sections such as like reading, English, science, and math, but just your overall score, you can always strategize. So remember, the test is half content, half strategy. You can strategize so that you lean towards your strengths, and your strengths help to build your score. So let's just say, for example, if like science is like your weak area, like you don't really have the science background, you could pull a really strong score in, we'll just say reading the English. Say if you're just an English person, right? You could pull a really strong score with those 2 sections, and a decent score in math, and then do kind of bad on science and still be in a good space. The only time that doesn't work is when we have like places like, to my knowledge, California, where it's like super competitive, where they want you to get 85 and 90, then that's when that strategy doesn't work. But if you're in a space and you have to score in the 50s, you have to score in the 60s, or even the low 70s, you can pull those scores being strong in 3 out of the 4. And it's like, you can fail one of the sections, not like bomb it, but you can do pretty bad on it and lean on the strengths of the other one. So you always want to design your study plan based around what your score goal is, because it changes from person to person. Yes, I walk around with my smart glasses all day at work listening to YouTube videos. Yes. It's so many gems on YouTube. YouTube is definitely a really great place to start, because it's a lot of long form content. So even if you guys go and take a look like at my YouTube page, I have a playlist, right? So every major section that ATI has released that you guys have to know for the exam. So it's 15 major topics overall that ATI says you guys have to know. I have a playlist and it's a video for every single one of those major sections, but the videos are 45 minutes. They're an hour long, sometimes an hour and a half long, because I go in depth, and all of the questions, or at least I'll say 95% of the questions, come from the examples from the workbook. Right, so it's literally giving you an idea as to what you're being presented with, so you know how to navigate around it. I made a 75 on the math portion today. Congratulations, Alicia. 75 is good. 75 is definitely good for sure. Congratulations. Is the teas hard? I think that's subjective. It just depends on the person. If you ask me personally, in terms of when I compare it to like other standardized exams, I don't think it's hard. I think it's a lot of information for somebody who isn't academically inclined. Like that's just not, academics may not be your thing, or you've been away from it for so long that you don't remember a lot of it. So maybe that part of it can be difficult, but as far as like the actual content that's included, it's not. A lot of the stuff is middle school level things. And y'all know, so crazy. I was proctoring an exam today for elementary students, and I was taking a look at some of the questions for the fifth graders, and it was some of the questions from the TEAS test. Now, just to let y'all know though, the curriculum is changing, so they're introducing some things a lot earlier to the kids. But from when I first started teaching, which was 10 years ago, this stuff was in 7th and 8th grade. Primarily, well, I'm gonna say primarily 6th and 7th grade. But then like now I'm like, oh my God, they're expecting fifth graders to know like the ratio and proportions. It's like, what the heck? It's crazy. It's definitely changing, but it's subjective. It just really depends on the person. Some people think it's hard. Some people think it's easy. Some people think it's not that bad with the proper preparation. So it really just depends. It definitely depends on the person. What's the easiest way to memorize all the conversions? So if you can find mnemonics for them, that helps. But remember, all the conversions you guys have to know for the exam are common conversions. Nothing too crazy. So like ounces to pounds, inches to feet, inches to yards, things like that. Nothing too crazy. The only thing I didn't pass today was the science. Okay, but 3 out of 4 is not bad. 3 out of 4 is not bad. Again, remember, the science is very heavy, right? Science is very difficult. And I don't say that lightly. It is tough because it's just so much content. I have to score 78 or higher. I'm aiming for 85, 90. Ooh, yes, you got to put that work in for that type of score. They making you work to get in that program. But it's not impossible, though. It's definitely not impossible. You just have to make sure that you have a really big exposure to the actual content, and you'll be good to go. Yeah, you'll be good to go. You're going to kill it. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely, once you put it in your mind, it's attainable. You just have to make sure the work that you're putting in matches what you're trying to attain. And that's one of the strategies, or that's one of the things I always talk about with people, is honesty is key. And honesty with yourself has nothing to do with everybody else, but you can't expect in 85 or 90, right? We use that as an example, but you're not putting in 85 to 90 work. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is something we have to take serious, right? If I know that I'm struggling and I have a deficit, then I have to invest the time and I have to work my brain so that I can come up to that knowledge level. And it's okay. It's no problem. But you can't psych yourself out, or like just hope and pray like, oh my God, just hope I do good, or I pray to God I do good. But it's like, you might not get the grace that a lot of people, they just don't get the grace. Sometimes people do, but like, you just want to be more prepared. If you have the opportunity to get prepared, and you're not playing around and wasting time, then you should take the opportunity. All right, is the TEAS and the HESI the same test? No, so the TEAS and the HESI measure the same thing, so they're both used as, that is really bothering me. Gosh, they're both used as entrance exams to the nursing program. It's just like ACT versus SAT is the same thing. But they cover a lot of the same topics, but then there are differentiating factors between the exams as well. So I wouldn't say they're exactly the same, but they're not that much different. I do know with the HESI, like the different sections that you're tested on, like I think they have like a section with just vocabulary, or like just with language, and you can choose which order you want to take the subject areas in. So with the T's, you have to do reading, math, science, English. You don't have a choice. But with the HESI, they just have all of the subject areas available, and then you go in and choose which one you would like to do. That is one big difference that I did notice. I struggle with decimals, percentages, and ratios. Oh, those are easy fixes with the right content. Very easy and very straightforward. Especially, well, really all of them. Yeah, that's definitely easy fix for sure. I didn't pass science today. Any tips? My biggest tip with science is take advantage of Quizlet for sure. The score report that they gave you today from your exam is going to go in and list all of the specific areas under science that you need to focus on. So I would say go find Quizlets that focus around that content. Also go on YouTube and look at any creators. If anybody has any suggestions, let me know. To see who can help you with those specific things, because you may have, even though a lot of people present, especially with science, that they can cover the entire science section, some people may just really be good at A&P. Somebody may be really good at biology. Somebody may be really good at chemistry. So you got to make sure when you're watching, you have to find content that resonates. So you're actually learning and you understand, the ins and outs of it. For sure. So if I would get a 70% on all my sections, what would be my final score? So if you got a 70% on all 4 of the sections, that would even out to a 70% overall. So your overall score is the average of your 4 sections. And the way that you find the average is you add all 4 of those scores up and then you divide by 4. And that's going to be overall average. I previously scored an 88, but I have to retake. You scored an 88 and had to retake? Where are you located in California? Because I feel like California is the only state that I see where people are scoring in the 80s and the 90s, and then they have to retake. They would love you here in Florida, because that's definitely not what's going on. Especially locally, you can go to any school you want to here, no problem. That is so crazy. I hate that. All right, I did okay on the reading and kind of okay on the rest of the section. Okay, but even if you go in and you don't pass first time, it's not the end of the world. So statistically, 40% of people don't pass the test, which is almost half on the first try. But the good thing about getting your score report is your score report always gives you a detail of each of the topics that you need to focus on for each subject area. So that definitely helps to reshape how you study. Another good thing is you understand the feel of the test. So how does it look? What are the colors like? How did you perform under the time constraint, which is very important. I always like to recommend that when you guys are prepping for the exam, the closer that you get to the exam, you have to introduce time constraints to your study habits, because if you know that on the English section, let's use that for example, that you have 37 minutes to answer 37 questions, you need to time yourself on 37 questions in 37 minutes, because 1, you need to make sure you can answer all those questions in that short period of time. And then 2, you need to recognize how your brain is responding to the time constraint, because that's another thing as well. Sometimes the time will impact how you're thinking because you're nervous, right? So you have to get to a point in your studying that you know the content so well that the time doesn't bother you. And just to give you guys another tidbit, the better that you get at concepts, even outside of math, the quicker that you become, right? So your goal in studying is always to become more competent in the skill, right? You build the skill, so you shave the time off. So then being timed, it doesn't even become something that worries you, because you understand how to work diligently. And then if you're timing yourself before your exam, you're going to be able to notice the changes. You're going to notice the influxes. You're going to notice when you're nervous, or when you're starting to slow down, or if you get to certain topics and it's taking you longer. In your mind, you already know. So what we're doing, we're skipping those questions because we need the guaranteed points. See, these are all things you guys could learn while you're prepping. But it's like, if you don't know, that's why you have people like me who can help you, so you understand what to do and what to look for. Y'all, they still have me restricted on here. Not that I know what that means, but I don't like that. It says your live contains themes that some may find uncomfortable and has been restricted. Commercial disclosure and paid marketing. Who paying me to market my own book? You know what? Whatever. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm in Georgia. You in Georgia? Oh my God, that is so crazy. That is so wild. Oh my God, my score report basically told me I need to go back to middle school. Okay, so we're not gonna do that, right? Just always think about it like this. When you're in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, that's 11, 12, 13 years old. So just think of how old you are now and how long it's been since you've done that content. Oh my God, this is about to drive me crazy on YouTube. I feel like you can't see it on here, but on there you can see it. Yes, so that's how long you've been away from the content, right? It's just like, okay, like perfect example. So I love baking, like baking is my thing, right? So of course, if anybody here is a baker as well, y'all know how it can be if you've been out of that kitchen for a little while and you forget little tidbits or you don't remember to do just the slightest thing, and now the pound cake a little off. Now it's not as sweet as normal. Now it's not as it's just like something is missing. So anytime, like if it's a recipe that I haven't used for a long time, because normally when I bake, any recipes that I use, I always have my own little adaptations or little things I have to remember if I've like researched or watched videos that I remember to do. But if I haven't done it for a long time, I can put the cake in the oven. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to do this. It's the same thing with this type of stuff. It's like if you don't use it, you lose it. Like they say, like you just don't remember. But you don't say you have to go back to middle school. I'm about to move to Florida. Yeah. Now, it's not like that everywhere in Florida, but I know particularly where I am in Daytona, there's schools around here where it's like 50s to get in. However, a lot of the times when the scores are lower, I always tell people what you're trading for a lower score is a more expensive tuition, right? So you have to keep it in mind. So the school here, like our state school, that's the cheapest. It's like super cheap for the program. It's like it's not even 10,000. I think it's like 6,000 or 7,000 for the RN program, but it's very competitive. So even though their minimum score, because I think they have a minimum overall, and then a minimum for reading the math. I can't remember if they changed it or not. So their minimum score is like a 60 something, right? It's low. However, if you look at the class data, the average students who are being taken in, they're scoring in the 80s. And that school is more of a GPA based school. So they go by a point system. So you get points based on the grades you got in classes and all that stuff like that. So it's like a lot of stuff that comes into play. Definitely. And then don't be scared to travel for school either. My mom drove an hour away to go to school. Yeah, she did. She definitely did. I'm 19, hoping to graduate after I turn 21. You're going to do great. I'm supposed to take my test Friday, but I'm rescheduling for next week. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, one thing about it, if you know you best, if you know you're not ready, definitely don't stress about it. But don't keep rescheduling, right? You have to go in and take it. You got to do what you got to do. For sure. For sure. Okay, so as far as struggle points, this is what I have so far from y'all. I have word problems, I have proportions, solving equations, fractions, conversions, measurement and data, percentages, decimal. I mean, y'all literally giving me everything. But did I miss anything though? Did I miss it? You're right. I just need more time. Yeah. But just don't keep pushing it off. This is your last time pushing it off. Just go in there and do what you got to do, and you'll be good to go. All right, any tips for the science? All right, so remember, science is super bad. So my starting suggestion is always to start on YouTube, just so you can get introduced to different variety of content that's on there. I would also suggest taking a practice test just so you can kind of get in the groove of seeing how the content is mixed up. But I always hear people say like Quizlet is really good for science because people have put together like different notes and tips and tricks. And then if you can find anyone who provides like any types of diagrams and things like that. And so crazy. So this book is also available in a digital format, so you can buy it and download it immediately. And in the digital bundle, I actually include, it's like these science notes that people love. I forget the name, but it's just an adaptation of it. But it has like diagrams, like different notes. Oh, it's so nice. Oh, people just love them, and it's been around for a long time. People really love them. I just made it. Wait, Alicia. Okay, so perfect example. Okay, so Alicia just said, hate to call Yasa. She made a 25 on the science portion, right? So remember how I told y'all can go in and not pass, but you can't bomb. 25 is bombing. We can't do the 25. We can't do a 25%. You got at least a 50. At least 50%. Not 25. No, we got to go in and we got to fix that. However, even though you did get a 25, right, on your score report, it tells you everything you need to focus on, right? So you just build your studying around that and you'll be good to go. That was the only thing I failed. Oh my God. And you know what's so crazy? That killed your score. A 25% will drag you down. Yeah, I know for sure that killed your score. For sure, for sure, for sure. Our quadratic equation is going to be on TEAS. No. So quadratic equations are like, we're dead into algebra and then borderline in algebra 2. This test has a smidge bit of algebra, but the farthest that it goes is solving equations. So it could be like two-step equations, multi-step equations, absolute value equations, inequalities, absolute value inequalities. That's about the furthest the algebra goes, but it's not going to be nothing linear on here. So you guys don't need to know like slope and y-intercept and things like that. Very basic, very, very straightforward. Now, I will say HESI has a smidge bit more algebra, but not quadratic, not even by a long shot. How many clusters are in the workbook again? Sorry, I forgot. Oh, so there are 5 clusters. So the book is broken down into 5 parts. So it helps you to learn the math in an order that is easy for retention. So I group together skills that are similar with each other. So it's easy for you to learn and retain them. Do you think the TEAS is slightly easier than the HESI? So my personal opinion is I think the HESI is easier than the TEAS. And the only reason why I think that is because overall the HESI doesn't cover as many subtopics as the TEAS, especially on the math. Is nowhere near as many topics. Even though the HESI has more questions in the math section, it's a lot of the same types of questions over and over again, versus on the TEAS, you get more of a variety. So sometimes people just get overwhelmed with HESI because it's so many questions, but it's a lot easier in terms of complexity, especially the word problems, very straightforward, very in your face. Even though the TEAS is straightforward, I feel like the HESI is even more straightforward than the TEAS for sure. Question is how to succeed the first time. I feel like it's real hard to say. Just banking on the first time, because it just depends on so many factors. I only say that because over the years I've seen people who buy everything that's available. You know, like they spend the max, they spend so much time prepping, and then they go in and they don't get what they need. So I feel like it's hard for me. Now I'm an honest educator, like honest. I don't sell people dreams about studying or scores or anything like that, because everybody's singular journey is their own, if that makes sense. You know, like these stray hairs on YouTube about to drive me crazy. Like, my God. Whew. Okay. Everybody's singular journey is their own, so it's so hard for me to say. I mean, I can give you things that I know that work, but you might just have a bad day on test day. But I don't want to be the person to pump you up. Like, if you do all this, you're going to pass. That's between you and God. Like, I don't have no control over that. You know, like, I just know my best advice, start with a practice test so you can have a pinpoint as to where you are, right? Across the board, what do you know versus what you don't know? Then you build a study plan around what you don't know, and you tackle every single topic one by one, section by section, subject by subject. All right. Once you actually start doing that, in the midst of tackling each subject, what you do is you watch videos, right? So you get lessons, you can refresh. And then based on that, you do practice to reinforce what you have refreshed. And then as you practice, you will see your progression, right? If you're progression and you're getting more questions right, and you're feeling more comfortable and confident with the content, then you can move on. If you're still hitting roadblocks, then we need to revisit videos, right? Because we need to figure out, where am I not getting this, you know, or even go so far as to get a tutor or to join a study group. It's so many moving parts that go into it. And you repeat that for every single topic, right? So I'm refreshing, I'm practicing, and I'm looking for progression. If I'm not progressing, where am I not getting it right? Or where is my issue? And then how can I tackle that issue? And if you can't do that singularly, then you need to look for somebody who can assist. And again, getting assistance is normal. It's okay. You guys aren't educators full time, you know, so I don't expect for people to always understand how to approach that. But so many people available. We have social media and things like that who are there to help you, you know, so definitely take advantage. For sure, for sure, for sure. I'm going to take the TEAS January 31st. What's your number one tip? I just joined. So 31st, that means you are 16 days out. So if I were you, all right, my last 16 days, and let's just say you just don't know where you are and things like that, right? Practice test immediately, right? Right now, I need hard data. I am good in reading. I could refresh in math. Lord, help me with the science. I'm good at English. All right, based on that breakdown, now specifically, I need to go in and clean up all of the small stuff that I'm struggling with. When the closer you get into your exam, we have to have what I like to call come to Jesus moments, right? It's some stuff that you may not be able to come around the curve within a 2-week frame, or maybe something that's really killing your confidence. Let it go, right? Because our focal point needs to be where we can get those guaranteed points. So YouTube is going to be your best friend in the next 2 weeks, right? If you have, like for instance, if you go to my playlist on my channel, which is Jakar Lewis, I have a full length practice test, which actually comes from out of this book, and it goes over it goes over 38 questions in depth. So what you could do is you get to the video, pause it, look at the question, try to answer the question, and then you watch my explanation to see if it's right. And then that is how you're getting in the groove of the mixture of questions, right? You're seeing where your weak points are. So, if you miss a question with fractions, then you go to the other playlist, and now you're doing a lesson on fractions, and you do that across the board. But the next 2 weeks, you need to make sure that you understand what you know versus what you don't know. And then you also need to transition into timing yourself at least a week out so that you can adjust to the time constraint. The closer you get to your exam, don't let the anxiety of what you don't know get the best of you, right? The focal point is, what do I know that can get me the guaranteed points? And then you just kind of go from there. Will you be going live to help us on the struggle topics you listed, or will you be posting videos? Okay, so with the struggle topics, I'm still on the fence about that. I do know once I get the iPad, I'm going to be able to record a lot of videos by hand. Maybe I'll consider doing some live stuff. I haven't done that in years, y'all, because I've been doing it for so long. However, I understand that there is a need for it. I just have to make sure I can get into my schedule to where it works for me as well. But we'll see. I know when I have done lives in the past, I know people really do better with the instant feedback. So we'll see. I'll definitely work on that. And I'll keep y'all posted and let y'all know. Thank you. I'm going to study science now. Yes. If you don't have the book, get it. Period. Her book helped me so much. I couldn't have done it without your book. Yay. That's what we like to hear. Yeah, well, I'm still kind of tripping over the live being flagged a little bit. Remember, I was just talking about it the other night about when I first started, and the lady from the other TEAS group. I don't really like that, but tomato. I don't really like that though, because people be dead wrong doing that. All right, book helped me so much. I couldn't have done it without you. Perfect. I just see my book. I didn't pass first, but I'm excited to get started. Perfect. All right, so if you guys look for the book, of course, you can get it via the link in my bio or jakarlewismath.com. All right, so the book is available in 2 formats. We have the physical book, and then we have a digital book as well that's available for immediate download. So it just depends. Anybody who places an order tonight, I'll make sure I ship it out tomorrow, and you'll get it in a couple days. And you'll be good to go. I just got my books. I did diagnostic tests in the only area I have noticed major issues with. Wait, what was the area? Meg, where was arrange the values and ascending orders. Oh, but that's the easy fix though. Well, that's good if that's the only thing you're struggling with, right? Out of the 15 topics, and that would be under the topic of comparing and ordering rational numbers. That would be your actual focal point. It's the word problems for me, but I am on cluster 2, taking my time and going through the problems and videos. The videos on YouTube are so helpful along with the book. Yeah, so cluster 2 is a great place to be because cluster 2 is ratios, proportions, and percentages, and that entire cluster is all word problems. I don't think there's anything in that cluster that's not in word problem form. So you'll get more than enough practice. For sure. All right, so I have all y'all study topics down, so I'm definitely going to keep this stuff in mind. Oh, super important. So tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on my YouTube, I have a video premiere, and it's a super short, quick, and sweet review of circle graphs. So quick, who here struggles with graphs? Meaning, like, you guys know how to read graphs and interpret information? Because for this exam, you're guaranteed to see a graph, some type of graph. It could be a circle graph, a bar graph, a line graph, a scatter plot, histogram, and they are looking to see if you can interpret information from that, right? I did watch YouTube videos where you explain center value, some keep practicing. Okay, perfect. Okay, so if you guys are struggling with circle graphs, right, tomorrow night, all you guys have to do is go to my YouTube channel. Make sure y'all subscribe. It's Jakar Lewis, and it's already scheduled for tomorrow night. So what happens is I schedule it as a premiere. So as a premiere, it's like live, like we're all watching it at the same time, but I'm there in the chat so that if you guys have questions, I can answer it. But I love this video, one, because it's short and sweet and quick, right? And it gives you a quick snapshot as to how you guys can approach circle graphs in this one particular form. So it's 2 videos. This is the first video, and then the second video I'm going to upload next week so you guys can see how to split the content in half. But the great thing I love about this video is it was from this session that I had like years ago. And what I did was I went in, I explained to her that visually, this is what you're going to see, right? And based on what they give you, this is how we dissect the information. After that quick little lesson, we go through a couple practice questions together. So as that student is going through the practice questions, you guys can do the same thing live as well. And then we can see if you guys got the same answers as her. And if you guys have any discrepancies, I can answer them on spot. But it's only about 10 minutes, the review. It's very short and sweet, but I gave her some very good gems and I helped to correct some of the misconceptions that she had. But that shows you how quickly we can change a skill even within 10 minutes. So please make sure y'all join me. Very short, very sweet. For sure. Very short and sweet. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on YouTube. I'm going to take a few more questions and then we're going to get out of here. All right, says, how is it scored? How fast is the shipping? I love hard copy, but I might have to grab the ebook. Okay, wait. So question is, are you asking me how the TEAS exam is scored? Okay, so we have 3 options for shipping. So again, anything placed tonight will be shipped out tomorrow. The most popular option and the most economical option is our media mail option, which is like $5.38. And that takes between 2 to 7 business days, depending on how close you are to Florida, right? So the closer you are to Florida, it can be like 2 or 3 days. And then the further out, like if you're way in California, it's going to take 7 business days for sure. The further out west, anything that's up north is probably about 3 or 4 days. And we have priority, which is 2 to 3 business days anywhere in the country. And then we have next day shipping as well. But I always recommend media mail or priority if you feel like you have to have it in the next couple of days. So priority, tomorrow is Thursday. And again, depending on how far you are, you can have it by Saturday or Monday. Again, if you're further out like California, it'll be Monday. But if you're closer, it'll be by Saturday. And the ebook is immediate. And the ebook gives you the option to print as well. So if you need something to actually write on, you'll be good to go. You'll be good to go. Your books will come fast, ordered on Saturday and came in a few days. Yeah, I don't play about shipping. I'm dead serious about that. I don't sit on orders or let orders pack up. As soon as they come in, they're already pre-packed anyway. I slap the label on them and I make sure USPS comes every day. I have it scheduled so they come and pick up the orders every single day. I'm definitely super serious about that because one, I understand that the time frame is small. In reference to the time you have to prep a lot of the times. And then 2, I'm really big on customer service. I don't play. I don't like to order something and then I'm waiting a million years to get my shipping notification. And then Lord forbid, they just made the label and they still haven't shipped it out. Oh, my nerves are so bad. So I definitely try to do as best as I can with that. Very seldom do I have pushback shipping. Something I either have to not be feeling good or something is going on. All right, so I'm in Texas. So normally from here to Texas, it's probably about, if you do media mail, it should be like 3 or 4 days. And it also depends on what part of the state you're in, because people who are located in more of the rural areas, it always takes longer. But if you're like in a more populated city that has a lot more going on, it doesn't take as long. But Texas shouldn't be any more than 3 or 4 days for sure with media mail. How do you order Amazon? No, Jeff can't have none of my money. Nothing. No, everything is operated by me. I handle all of my orders. So I place my orders for my own books. All my books come to me and I ship them out to y'all. Yeah, I do no third party I don't play with them people like that. But yeah, you could just go to the link in my bio, or you can go to www.jakarlewis.com. Even if you just Google my name, Jakar Lewis, my website will be the first thing that comes up. So you'll see it. You'll see it. Fractions. So I have fractions down. How was the T score? So the T's is 4 sections. It's comprised of 170 questions. Reading is about 23%. I think we said math was about 24%. Science is 29%. And then I think English was about 22%. Right. So you answer 170 questions, but only 150 of the questions are actually scored. All right. And then you have an individual score for every single section. And then the average of those scores is going to be your composite score. I'm in Florida and receive mine fast. Yeah, anybody who's in Florida, if you order media mail, you should get your book within 2 days, no longer than 3. For sure. For the TEAS exam, do we need to bring a calculator or one be provided? So for this exam, you guys are going to have access to a 4-function calculator. So it's going to be a calculator that's just like this. Now, for the digital format, because I don't know if T7 is offered paper-based. I mean, it probably is, but I'm not sure. But there is a calculator just like this one built into the exam. I always recommend that you go buy one. I got this from Walmart for $1. It's pen and gear, just so you can get used to the numbers and the functions that are available. And yes, there is a square root button available on this calculator, and there's one that's built into the TEAS exam as well. Right, but just so you can get used to what is it's very basic: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, square root function, and it does have a function for percent. I can't remember specifically how to do it. Let me see. Oh yeah, no, it's a no for me. I don't know how to do the percent on there. I'm gonna have to figure it out to make a video so I can show y'all. I'm purchasing. Thank you. Yes, remember, anything that is ordered tonight, I'll make sure I send it out tomorrow. And again, if you have any questions, remember, this is the main book that has the examples. It has over 1,700 practice questions, over 400 video tutorials, and it's 3 full-length practice tests. The thin one, which is this cover, was black and white. So remember, this is all white. This is black and white. This one just has 5 full-length practice tests and 190 questions, and it's a video explanation for every single question. So everybody, most of the orders, 90% of the orders is just the bundle. All right, most people just get both so that they can start with the foundation, they can expand with the practice. But of course, whichever one works best for you is for you. But most people, they get the bundle. Does the book break down word problems and convergence? Yes. So every single thing that is expected of you guys for the exam, so all of the 15 major areas that ATI has released are covered. And then what I also do is under those major areas, I show you all of the possible ways it can be presented. So for example, if we go to percentages, right? Percentages is very general, but specifically it's a lot that it could cover. So it could be percentage increase or decrease. It could be percent proportions. It could be tax, tip, or discount. It could be percent markup or markdown. So all that is covered within the section. This is like a one-stop shop. A lot of people just use this, all the videos on YouTube, all the videos on here, and they're good. But I don't mind if y'all use this as a base and then go and then do practice in other areas, that's fine as well. But this is enough. Always has been. So this is called a 4-function calculator. Yep. Even if you go on Amazon, just 4-function calculator. Okay, y'all on there ordering books. I love to see it. All right, I took my TEAS 2 years ago in my second year of my nursing school. Now her book helped a lot. Oh, congratulations. One thing about my people, they always find me some type of way. And these are people from like years ago. Just to let y'all know, I've been doing this for a while though. I've been in education since I was 18. So that's been 15 years. No, wait, 16 years this year. But I've been working with TEAS for over 10 years. And then this book was released this year. Oh my God, y'all, this year. Wait, is this year the 6th? Oh, this year makes 6 years since the book has been out. Yep. So I've been around for a little while. All right. Just purchased. Thank you. All right. So do we have any other questions before we get out of here? So remember, tomorrow night, 8 p.m., join me on YouTube. All you have to do is go to my channel. And then I think you can it should be something on my page you can click for like a reminder and then send you a reminder. But tomorrow night, 8 p.m., we have our short and sweet and quick tutorial, which is a premiere of understanding how to read a circle graph and answer questions based on the circle graph. I'll be there in the chat just in case you guys have any questions. And then as we progress within the next couple of weeks, I'll see what I can do about doing us a review. I'm just trying to figure out which platform would be best. I mean, my personal preference is always Zoom is always the best way to do stuff though, especially with math. That's like the best way. But this year I'm expanding, so I have to learn how to incorporate the social media stuff into it so everybody can see it. But of course, the push come to shove, we'll just go on slide over there to Zoom, and then we'll go from there. Hey, Key. Oh, so Key has to take her T's. I think she's going for sonography. All right, so of course, sending her well wishes. All right, that's right. Y'all ordering y'all books. I love that for y'all. I mean, I love that for me too. But no, I really, really, really love that for y'all. That's great. So any more questions before we get out of here? All right, remember, this is our math talk. So I'm trying to figure out what's really bothering y'all. So last rundown, word problems, proportions, equations, fractions, conversions, and then measurement and data is like a whole big section. Percentages, decimals, percentages, and ratios. All right, so that's what I have down. All right, remember, if you guys haven't done so, because I don't know if they're going to, I think we got 4 days until they decide if they're going to ban TikTok or not. But I have years of content on other platforms that have been established. So if you're on Facebook, my Facebook group, all you have to do is search ATI TEAS 7 Math, and then my group will come up. My name will be attached to it. Okay, don't be nervous. It's not as bad as people think. Ascending and descending. Nope, it's not as bad. Just one test at a time, right? One day at a time, and you'll be good to go. You'll be good to go. Is there anybody else here who's prepping for anything besides nursing? Because I know that for TEAS, they have dental hygienists, they have radiography, they have sonography. Is there anybody who's going for something besides nursing here? Do you have one-on-one tutoring sessions? So I don't have one-on-one tutoring sessions. However, I am working on rebuilding a tutoring company because that's how I started. That was my thing. Like I started with tutoring when I was like 19. But I'm going to rebuild the company so I could contract people out, but I'm going to train them to be just like me. So just repeat me into other people. So hopefully that should be ready in the fall, probably by August. But we will see. Okay, see, so we have somebody who's doing dental hygienist. A lot of people don't know that the TEAS is used for an array of different health care related areas. It's not just nursing. How do you order? So you order via the link on my bio. So just go to my page and the link is right there. Shakar Lewis Master. Remember, anything that's placed tonight, I will make sure I ship it out tomorrow. And then if you guys do an ebook, as soon as you order it. Oh, we have somebody else here with sonography. Okay, so boom. You see how Key you have sonography, and then is it Danley or Danley? See, y'all could collaborate, right? Because y'all may enter y'all programs at the same time, and then you guys could talk about different things. Maybe y'all could study together and things like that. That's one thing I do love about social media. It helps to connect people in different spaces, but going through similar journeys. So you guys could be of help to one another. For sure. All right. All right, so tomorrow night, 8 p.m., YouTube, circle graphs, real quick review. Also, if you guys go to my YouTube, I have a new thing that I just learned about this week. If you go to my page and go to the community tab, every day I have a practice question that is scheduled, and you can just go in and just do the practice question just to kind of see where you are. And you know what's so surprising is when I created the practice questions, in my mind, I said, oh my God, I'm gonna just do something quick and easy that most people can get right and build their confidence. But it's like so many people who are getting the questions wrong. I mean, of course, I can help people to get it right, but I was more surprised at how many people actually were missing the questions. I wasn't expecting that. How do you order the book? So you can order the book via the link in my bio, because I don't think I can make comments. Do they let me comment? I don't know how to do nothing on here. I don't like that for me. Oh, I can't comment. Okay, there we go. All right, but it's probably not going to be a link on here. All right, so Shakar Lewis Math, and then I should be able to pin. Boom, it's pinned. All right, so the pinned comment, that's where you guys can order the book. All right, I'm in between dental school and nursing school. Okay. Oh my God, I just went to the dentist yesterday. I'm getting braces. I'm so excited. Look, big and grown, but no, I'm really excited. Hopefully I don't have to wear them for a long time, but I'm definitely excited. Definitely excited. All right, well, many blessings to all of you beautiful ladies, right? So we got a long journey ahead of us. We got to get past this tease. We need to get into these people program so y'all can get out there and make the big bucks, and do the Lord's work because these people need y'all. All right. So once again, if you guys are not familiar with who I am, my name is Jakar Lewis, and I am a longtime educator. And my job or my dream, which I am living, is to always help others be able to make it one step close to your dream. So if I have a video, if I have a comment that I can give you guys, can always send me a message. If you have a question about anything, of course, if any of the materials that I have can help you, that's enough for me. As long as I can be just a one little grain of sand on your journey to your dream, that's enough for me. Because it's definitely a blessing to be able to have the skills to bless others in areas where they don't feel confident or they don't think that they can do it. But God has blessed me with the gift to be able to help you to find that within and to blossom, right? So all you guys are going to do great. Just always remember what I said. What you put into the teas is what you're going to get out. It's definitely not something that you should play games with, especially when your dream is on the line, right? So much stuff that's on the line, and you are the person that is in control of that, right? And you have so many people like me who are available to you guys to help you to matriculate through this particular journey, So just take advantage and never feel afraid. You guys can always ask me a question. I'm very friendly, right? So if you send me a question, I definitely will answer it for you. Maybe not right then because I don't keep notifications on social media. However, but when I'm on here, I try my best to answer them as fast as possible. So remember, I can help y'all. Y'all can help me. So if I have helped y'all, I always make sure the best thing you can do for me is just help other people, tell other people so I can help them as well. All right. Because this year I'm on the road to expanding, right? And the easiest way I can expand is through y'all. If I can help y'all, the most you can do is just tell other people. All right. Thank you. We appreciate you. I appreciate y'all too. Can you do conversions? I have conversions on the list. I do. Appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank y'all. All right, if you head to so even if you go on my TikTok page, I have videos with conversions that can help. But if you go to my YouTube, I have full lessons, like real full, and it's a couple of them, like full in-depth lessons, practice questions with conversions that will help. For sure. And don't forget, grab y'all books tonight. I'll ship them out tomorrow. Anytime you buy, though, I ship next day unless it's the weekend. All right, remember, white cover is the main thing. Examples, 1,700 practice questions, 400 videos. Well, plus. All right, and then this is the side chick. So main dish, side piece, right? This is our 5 full-length practice test with our 190 video tutorials. But most people, they just buy the bundle. You buy the bundle. But if you buy the bundle, you save $20, right? So that definitely does help. All right, so thank y'all so much. It's definitely a blessing. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Remember, 8 p.m. on YouTube. And if you can't make it tomorrow night, the video will be up, of course, for you to be able to refer to. And then I'm still working on getting us a full schedule out for February, like a calendar, so everybody is understanding how we can meet and greet. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to get it done for January because I already midway through. But we shall see. All right, but I will see y'all next time. Thank y'all, YouTube. My first time, y'all did great keeping me engaged. And then this is my 3rd or 4th time on TikTok, so I'm trying to get the hang of it. But I will see y'all next time, and y'all too. So good night. Everybody be blessed. I'm Jakara Lewis, and I'll see y'all next time. All right, and I'll see y'all tomorrow night for our circle graph review. All right, thank you so much for everything. No, thank y'all. Thank y'all for y'all time and trusting me to help y'all to make it one step close to y'all dream. Definitely is a blessing. I'll see y'all tomorrow night at 8 p.m.